Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to a chill Zatsudan, where I get to geek out about Vtubers that I enjoy, and we're gonna take it easy. It's been kind of a crazy year, and I haven't been able to draw on stream as much as I was hoping originally, so yeah, it'll all be good. Also, I can't believe, oh god, y'all are over here talking about your terrible sleep schedules, and that was one of the things I was gonna talk about, is how bad my sleep has been recently. It's been rough. I don't know. I was realizing that, like, ever since my basement flooded, I haven't been sleeping super well, because, like, I was really paranoid for a little bit that I was going to have more issues. Because, you know, even after the basement flooded, we kept having torrential rain for a while. And so I was, like, falling asleep at, like, 2 or 3 a.m. for, like, a while. And, like, I'm still having this problem. Like, we finally got, like, contractors scheduled, although that took entirely too much time to actually get, like, up and running. But, we finally do actually have some people that will be coming out to fix that, so... you know, it's just been a long summer, and it made me realize I need to, like, take it easy. It's been very stressful, and I need to get some more sleep, man. God, I'm sorry some of you are, it's hard when you're in college to get a good amount of sleep. I definitely feel you. Oh, man. But yeah. You know what? Oh, scented aromas. Ooh, like candles and things. God. I'm a really big fan of, like, scented candles. They just smell so good. It's so nice. We ended up having some scented candles after the flooding because, like, we needed to make stuff not smell terrible. But it was nice. It's kind of shocking. Like, by the way, for folks who don't know, if like flooding ever happens, like floodwaters and stuff, if you, like, come into contact with that in any capacity, you really should, like, properly clean off afterwards, because there can be some really gnarly stuff that ends up in floodwaters. So just be very, very careful, folks. If you ever have to, like, move through floodwaters, try not to consume any of it. Like, try not to get any of it in your mouth, and then, like, really wash off afterwards, like your clothes and stuff too. So, oh man. Damn it, Clay, just grab a straw and drink the flood water. No, we want the opposite of that. No straw drinking of the flood water. Oh god. Yeah, no, because it combines a lot of times floodwater, especially if it gets to, like, a certain height, it can mix with, like, all sorts of nasty stuff that's, like, out in the world. So there's, like, all kinds of bacteria and, like, amoebas and stuff. You don't want that. Don't want to consume that. It's no good. Oh my god. Okay, so I promise this was supposed to be a chill stream, and I'm just talking about, like, my lack of sleep and stuff. I'm gonna probably talk about that some more too. But yeah, I've been working on this for a little bit, and I finally had some time to do some fan art, which was super, super cool. So yeah, this is some fan art that I've done of some of my favorite fellow Vtubers, Mint and Doki. They're absolutely wonderful. I figure as I draw them, I'm gonna talk about why I think they're awesome. Doki, who is over here on the right, she is just a very like, contagiously fun person. Like, everything she does just has me laughing. She has a very contagious laugh, which is absolutely wonderful. She's also one of those people that really, like, wants to try and prop other people up, like making sure that artists who are out there who are drawing, like, all sorts of really cool stuff at, like, conventions and things, like, she'll, like, go and try to actually, like, get as much fan merch as possible and promoting people and, like, doing a bunch of really awesome art projects. I feel like all of the money that she makes, she just, like, puts back into projects. Which I find very relatable. She's fantastic. She's been doing a recent like Goodnight Dragoons series, which is like this like Zatsudan like format where she just like talks shit about random things that are going on, and it's super great because like I don't know. It was very relatable to me. She's over here talking about like when she was really into like Neopets, still is, which very reasonable. Even though they had some ownership issues and things like that. She also was really into like warrior cats as a kid, and like I don't know if I've talked about my warrior cats phase, but like, whoo boy. For those of you who are not familiar with warrior cats, let me share some wonderful things with you folks. So the Warrior Cat series was this like very long-running series of novels that was all about cats. So warrior cats were about like like super like dramatic, over the top like cat clans and like cat battles. There were cat politics. They were living out in the wild. Like the very first 6 books were all about the main character of the first 6 was referred to as Fire Paw for a while until he, you know, like climbed up in the ranks. I think they had like a very distinct naming system. It was like when you were like a trainee cat warrior, you had paw at the end of your name. So like Silver Paw, Flame Paw, Bramble Paw. These are all the trainee cats. And then once you become like an actual warrior cat, you get like a fancy thing instead of paw, like Flame Pelt, Bramble Claw, all sorts of things. Man in the Moon, I think that's actually an extremely good way of putting it. It was like family-friendly Game of Thrones. And it's actually a pretty good way of putting it because these books were like crazy violent. Like, oh my god. Like not only were the politics insane, but you also had just like, oh my god, some like crazy battles happened. It wasn't just for show. Like cats died. Like some cats that you would get attached to would just die in battle. And you're like, oh my god. There was one book where there was a bunch of wild dogs that had showed up nearby where the cats were at, and that was legit one of the most terrifying story like lines of all of the series, because like the way they described the dogs from the perspective of the cats was just so wild. Oh my god, they were terrifying. Oh my god. Yeah, no, a lot of older stuff for kids was absolutely brutal. But yeah, I was extremely obsessed with the series. I wrote a bunch of fanfic about it. I can't remember like what name I gave myself. I came up with a warrior cat name, and I wrote all of this fanfic when I was in like, I don't know, how old was I? I was like late elementary, early middle school. I had like all of the like supplementary appendices. There were several series like where it would continue with the same group of warrior cats, but it would be like successive generations of them. Tsuchineko. See, that's clever as hell. Oh my god. I feel like I was trying to come up with like, because you always wanted to have a cool like first part of your name, because that was the thing that stayed consistent, right? Like if you were Flame Paw, you became Flame, gosh, I wish I could think of some of the other like secondary things. I guess Flame Claw is fine. Like the leaders of the respective, there were like 4 clans of warrior cats. And all of the leaders would get the special honor of having Star after their name. So like the head warrior cats were like Blue Star. Or like, you know, like Bramble Star and things like that. Yeah, no, This was some deep, small Yumi lore. But yeah, no, I was like really into the warrior cats, like quite a bit. Anytime like any new novels came out, I'd be like, okay, it's time. I gotta go to the library. I gotta go and pick up all this stuff. I spent so much time in libraries as a small snack. Just because libraries were really cool. It was like a nice... Oh, this is gonna sound sad. I promise this is not all just gonna be sad. But like, I don't know, it was a nice like escape, I guess. Like, I could go out and like be in a nice quiet place, and it was really like awesome to go and rent, you know, whatever. I guess I shouldn't say rent, you're borrowing them. You're borrowing the books. But yeah, libraries were awesome. I loved libraries when I was growing up. I think it would be awesome for there to be as many libraries as possible. But I also would like go to like the bookstore and just like hang out and read a bunch of stuff there. God, yes, libraries do have such comfy corners. It's so true. It's so nice. And now the Yumi-verse has expanded. Scaleclaw, Yumi Tsuchineko. Scaleclaw is fantastic. That's great. Yeah, I think reading is a really great form of escapism. It's just, I don't know. I like reading a lot. I still do a lot of reading. I listen to a lot of audiobooks nowadays because it's really easy to do that, like while you're working on stuff. But I still read a bunch of manga because manga is beautiful and it is very, very good. So, very good. Man in the moon. Shout out to my library that put the Pokemon Adventures manga in the kids section without realizing how violent it was. Really got me into manga. I guess that was a pretty incredible time, huh? I feel like that was a lot of things that were on TV too, where they're just like, oh yeah, no, totally. We can totally show this. It'll be fine. And they're like, oh my god, it's so violent. I guess, to be fair, there was a lot of like really stupid, like actual factual censorship that happened of like One Piece and stuff, where they're like, we can't show them smoking. We can't have them shooting real guns. It's all water guns now. The children. Think of the children. And listen, obviously, like, it's not a bad idea to reduce, like, the amount of violent things that, like, kids are watching. But also, One Piece, really? Come on, man, it's not that bad. Good God. Oh, thank you all. I'm glad that you all enjoy the art. We're just gonna kind of, you can see I've already done some of this ahead of time. I kind of like starting stuff on stream when I've at least got like the skin all done, because I think it looks a little scary. Before the skin is completely done. It looks really pale and like they're very sickly, but they look fine now. They've got a little bit of blush and they've got some shadow. Which is good. Yeah, no, there was absolutely a Pokemon episode where it gave kids seizures because they kind of, there was a time that existed when people were not super conscientious about the fact that people might have epilepsy. And so there was like a very like rapidly flashing explosion that happened. Yeah, I think it was a Porygon episode. It was bad. It was really bad. Like 600 kids got hospitalized in Japan, and they had to like pull the episode. They went on a hiatus for a couple of months. Wasn't good. It wasn't good. Thankfully, though, nowadays, there's lots of warnings, and they make sure that that sort of stuff is not going to be as much of a problem, and that's good. We don't want the people to have the seizures. That's bad if that ends up happening. Okay. Nice. I'm just gonna go ahead. Do this. Oh, it's nice to draw. It's good. I've been doing like a bunch of stuff behind the scenes, so I was really happy I could actually draw some fan art with y'all. Oh man. man. Yeah, you know, it's true. There's like, God. Yeah, no. It was a different time, man, where they're just like, yeah. Of course we don't need to worry about epilepsy. It's fine. And then you're like, no, you do, though. You have to, like, tell people. You have to tell people if there's really, like, a bright flashing lights or, like, especially in, like, a particular pattern and things like that. That would just be no good. That would be absolutely no good. Yeah, no, I know I talked about this a little bit in one of our anime discussions, but yeah, I think it's a little unfortunate that the decision that some studios take, there's kind of two different things you can do to try and make like really fast animation or really flashy animation not cause seizures. And one thing is you can just dim the entire thing. You can just make it a little bit less bright, which is that's a better solution, I think, because you still keep like the integrity of the original animation. But when they do ghosting, which is where you get like that really weird doubling effect, it just totally messes with the animation. It's really, really sad. It just doesn't look super good. Oh, God. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of rough. You know, there was a lot of old media that would blast really, really bright flashing lights, which was just no good. It was just no good, man. Oh, man. Yeah, I was thinking a lot about, like, things that I used to be into a lot, like listening to some of Doki's streams, like Beyond Warrior Cats and everything. Which, okay, before I move on, I do have to say that Warrior Cats, in my personal opinion, as someone who was really obsessed with the series, it kind of fell off. I tried to keep up with it through high school, and some of the later arcs were just not very good. I was not a fan. They like did a lot of stuff that I thought was very questionable. So you heard it from me, someone who was a really big fan of the Warrior Cat series, but it definitely fell off at a certain point. Oh my God, Animorphs. Oh man. Oh, I also read a ton of, oh my God, what was that series called? The Magic Treehouse. I was really into the Magic Treehouse series, especially the ones where they would go to like the dinosaurs or where they would go back to prehistoric times. I really liked those ones. I always thought they were very fun. Those were like bite-sized novels for kids where like this magic treehouse would like teleport the kids back in time or like to other cool places, and they were always like really cool covers to the books and they were informative. I'm making some of you feel old. I'm sorry. We're going on a trip down memory lane, man. Oh my God, I was obsessed with those though. I also was really into, there was a series, I think I've talked about this a little bit, but not too much in depth. But there was a series that was called Dinotopia. That was originally a really beautiful illustrated novel. I wonder if it's fair to, I think it's fair to call it a novel because it was still like a story, but it was huge. It was like a big chonky book. So maybe it's better to call it like a very detailed picture book with a story that was in there. But yeah, James Gurney, an artist who I really respect a lot, was the one who was the artist behind that. And it's really gorgeous. Like, those books are, like, lavish. James Gurney did such a good job of bringing together this world. So the world... I'm just going to be explaining all these things from my childhood. But the world of Dinotopia was... it's supposed to be, like... in the Bermuda Triangle. There is like this secret island where dinosaurs and prehistoric animals still live. Like they live there and they coexist with humans. This person in like the first Dinotopia, I'm just gonna call it a novel. In the first Dinotopia novel, this man and his son are on a boat and they wash ashore, kind of nearby the Bermuda Triangle. And then they end up in Dinotopia, and there's a bunch of dinosaurs that all coexist with humans, and like some of them like are relatively intelligent and like pretty good at doing certain tasks. Like the pterosaurs, the flying dinosaurs in particular, are really intelligent, and they're able to like ride them. But then there's other dinosaurs that are just like happy to hang out, and just like, you know, do all sorts of different things with the humans. Some of them they kind of treat them like ox, like enormous ox. But the really intelligent ones can actually like do a lot of things, like help out with math problems and yeah, just do a lot of work there. I don't know. I was really into that series when I was a kid because I really liked dinosaurs a lot. And the illustrations were super good, but I also really liked the idea of like a society where humans coexisted with dinosaurs that wasn't just Jurassic Park. Because as you all know, Jurassic Park, well, that coexistence with humans didn't go super well. So I really liked the idea of like a fantastical place where it was possible to live with the dinosaurs. Oh no, what's my favorite dinosaur? Oh my god, Magical, that's such a hard question. I'm always very partial to carnivores. I think that they're really cool because like they do really awesome hunting behavior and things like that. I think probably my favorite is Allosaurus. I think Allosaurus is really cool because they were really big Tyrannosaurus looking dinosaurs. They were a lot smaller than Tyrannosaurus, but they actually would hunt in like packs. So they were kind of wolf-like. It's cool. Like, very, very cool that like there were like large carnivorous dinosaurs that would actually work together to bring things down. Because when you think of like a lot of carnivorous dinosaurs, you do think of like kind of they're on their own. Like Tyrannosaurus is kind of the big one. The Velociraptor is also a great example. I also, gosh, the like really big hook, like claw that Velociraptors have is super cool. It's so cool. Oh my god, Spinosaurus is awesome. It's so cool. And yes, no, Gail, you were correct. The Walking with Dinosaurs series kind of was a formative thing for me. They had an entire special on Allosaurus, and all I can say is that they were extremely based for doing it because Allosaurus was really cool. It's cool actually because like the state of kind of like scientific thought around dinosaurs has developed a lot over the last couple hundred years. But especially recently, a lot of people have been looking at certain fossils that are pretty well preserved. Like Archaeopteryx is a really famous example. That is the dinosaur that is kind of small, and it's got those like really, really pronounced feathers. Like that was one of the first signs where they're like, oh my god, some of the dinosaurs had feathers. This tracks with what we assumed, like based on like, you know, the fossil record and things like that. You know, we had like all the evidence was pointing to birds being descended from dinosaurs, but here we've got it, Archaeopteryx. It's a dinosaur, but it's got feathers, like actual feathers. And recently there's been some discussion about how a lot of dinosaurs probably did have feathers. It probably wasn't just Archaeopteryx. It probably was like a lot of them had like some sort of like proto feathers, or like just outright feathers, which is super cool if you think about it. Like, I don't know. I know that it's like, it's fun to have like the really lizard looking ones in like a lot of popular media, but I also really like the idea of like, I don't know, like a feathered Allosaurus would be really cool. Yeah, no. Birds are super terrifying. And yeah, if you look at like modern day emu or ostriches and stuff, like look at the way that they look. Look at the way they walk and do things. Like, it's just modern day dinosaurs, man. That's crazy. Also, cassowaries are like really terrifying. You don't mess with a cassowary. They will mess you up. Absolutely mess you up. Oh, man. Yeah, you know, it kind of makes sense for, like, some of the larger ones to be, like, slightly more lizard-y, because feathers are, like, kind of, they're, like, a pretty big investment for a lot of things. Like, you've got, if you look at, like, other really large animals that currently exist on the planet, like, elephants are a mammal, right? Like, they do have hair on them. If you like get up really close, like you can see that they have hair, but there isn't like a whole lot that's super pronounced. So yeah, it's cool, man. Oh my god. Raz, my favorite dinosaur fact is that Stegosaurus lived further away from Tyrannosaurus than Tyrannosaurus did from us. Yeah, that's a really good shout out. The dinosaurs existed on this planet for a really, really, really long time. Like, millions, hundreds of millions of years. It's only been like 65 million years since the dinosaurs, at least all the really big ones, went extinct. Because we still have the tiny ones, right? We still have the birds. The birds still exist. We still have crocodiles, and like alligators and things. By the way, I want to talk about how insane it is that like crocodiles and alligators have existed for a really long ass time. Like, that's kind of crazy. They were one of the things that like escaped a lot of the devastation from that period of time. They used to be a lot bigger, and that's terrifying. But it's cool that like we can still see some vestiges of things that lived from back then. There's a lot of like sea life and things like that, which is really cool. Gosh, it's really sad though. There used to be a lot of like, sometimes you think about all of the animals that used to exist on this planet and you're like, damn, plesiosaurs were so cool. Like terrifying, legit terrifying. Like dinosaurs that were in the water. Terrifying, absolutely horrifying. But they were super cool. They did all kinds of awesome, like, oh, I don't know. I like sharks a lot, but like they would eat like really big sharks and stuff, and that's metal as hell. That's so cool. They were enormous. We used to have really big predatory whales too. Like whales that could go and like eat sharks and stuff. Oh, terrifying, but super cool. Yeah, and also the giant insects. So giant insects were a thing, mainly because there was so much oxygen on the planet. Like loads and loads more oxygen than what currently exists. In fact, there was so much oxygen that if anything ever caught fire, it would just burn and burn and burn because there was too much oxygen to keep it going. So that's not great. Not a big fan of like infinite fires. And not super good, all things considered. But yeah, insects are interesting because they are kind of the opposite of us. So if you think about like people and like snakes and stuff, we have like our fleshy bits on the outside, and then we have bones and skeleton on the inside. You can kind of think of bugs as like the opposite. They have like a really hard exterior. They're like exoskeleton. And then the inside is all of the fleshy bits. But they don't have like proper lungs as a result because they don't have like the structure for it. Like, what are they gonna do? They're gonna try to breathe, but they don't really have, like, a good way of doing that. So what they do instead is they have a bunch of, like, essentially pores all over their exoskeleton where they breathe through their skin, essentially. Yeah, as a result, in order to get really big bugs, you need a lot of oxygen because they just can't, like, get enough oxygen inside otherwise. They would just suffocate if they got too big, so it's wild. Oh. Oh my gosh, yeah, I think that's correct. I think it was, like, I think that sounds right to me. It might be slightly different than 34% atmospheric oxygen in the Carboniferous, but that sounds right. It was like a crazy amount of oxygen. It's cool. God, I love talking about dinosaurs and prehistoric stuff. It's so cool. Like, there's a lot of really, it's really fascinating, like, how much has existed on this crazy planet for such a long ass time. And yet, like, for a really, really long time, there was jack shit. Like, there was nothing. Like, as the Earth was forming and, like, becoming the Earth, like, there just wasn't a whole lot that was going on. But then you started having, like, single-celled organisms that started existing, and then they were a thing for, like, 1 billion years, and then they started becoming, like, some of them started gobbling each other up, and then they started working together to become multicellular. Ah, it's cool. It's cool, man. It's so cool. Oh, I don't know. The bacteria and the protists, they led the way. They made it so that we can exist now. I appreciate them, even if I get annoyed when there's a bunch of algae in my sink. He had no internet for billions of years. These poor bacteria are just so bored all the time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, you know, that's a good shout out with, like, the evolution of dinosaurs too. Because, like, damn, man. Like, there was a lot of development that happened very, very quickly. You had, like, some big-ish dinosaurs and things, but, like, they kind of just, like, went crazy at a certain point. And we had so many things that developed. If I'm remembering correctly, I think that, like, modern grasses and flowers, I think that didn't happen until the Cretaceous, if I remember correctly. So, like, a lot of grasses that currently exist, like, weren't a thing for a long time, which is kind of incredible. And, like, a lot of flowering things weren't as much in existence because, like, you needed good pollinators and things like that to help, which is super cool. You know, grass didn't exist. I'm sure my skin would have been much happier for that, but... Oh, man. It's kind of nuts. Yeah, for those of you saying that, like, insects comprise, like, a crazy amount of the biomass on this planet, you're just right. Like, even though they're tiny, there's so many insects. They're everywhere, just all the time. There's also, if you want to... Oh, maybe I'll make... Oh, I don't want to make people upset by saying this. I remember when I first learned this, I was kind of creeped out by it, so maybe I shouldn't say it. Let's just say there's very small things that are even more prevalent than insects. There's just a lot of them that are all over the place. Yeah, I know some of the dinosaurs weren't even able to touch grass. How crazy is that? Or I guess it was, like, a different type of, like, vegetation that they were going after. But yeah, like, for a lot of the early stages of dinosaurs existing on this planet, the entire, like, land mass of this planet was all just, like, one big ass continent called Pangea. And yeah, no, the weather on Pangea was kind of insane, because if you think about it, like, if you think about all of the land that exists on this planet, being just one big ass continent. Like, the center of that continent is going to be a hellish desert in some capacity, right? Like, it's going to be horrible. And then, like, the coasts are gonna have, like, crazy, like, weird weather coming off of the ocean and things like that. And then you're gonna have really weird rain patterns all over. So, the point of this is that it's great that Pangea split up, because the weather was kind of nuts there for a while. Oh, man. Oh, it's just crazy, y'all. It's just crazy. But yeah, no, there's a lot of, like, very, very tiny things that exist on the planet. There's a lot of them. It's somewhat distressing. Like, if you removed all of the large things, like if you removed all people, and left, like, everything else behind, you would just have, like, a faint outline of, like, all of the people and all of the things because of all the microbes and things that were on them. Like the nematodes and stuff. They're everywhere. Here's the thing, to make you feel better about this, before you're like, oh my god, I need to go wash my hands, I need to cleanse the nematodes from my skin. They're good, they're there, they're helping you, you know? They're fighting off all of the bad things that are trying to hurt you. They're having little wars on your skin. They're launching counterattacks against things. They're happy to, like, be around and do things. Indeed, we are made of smaller things. Yeah, no, it's true. You have, like, a bunch of bacteria and other stuff that are just chilling in your stomach. They're good. They're hanging out. They're doing good stuff. Ouch, I need my toes. I'm sorry, Uematsu. I hope your toads can recover. Nematodes between your toes. I think it especially freaked me out when I learned that, because like, part of like my lab experience is we had to look at nematodes under, like, a microscope. Oh god, if you don't like the way that worms look, I don't think you'd like to look at a nematode. You're just like, ugh, oh god. All right, just not gonna think about that. They're doing good things, I'm sure. They're helping out. Just a lot of them, man. You know, speaking of nematodes, even though they're really tiny, they're not quite as tiny as, like, bacteria and stuff. So they can actually do, like, some... I shouldn't say that. Bacteria can do quite a bit of damage. But, like, if you put a nematode next to a bacteria, nematode's a lot bigger. But you still have to look at it under a microscope. But nematodes and bacteria can actually really mess with some crops. There is a type of nematode that will just lay waste to, like, soybean fields. If I remember, I think it's called the soybean cyst nematode. Let me look that up real quick. Soybean cyst. Haha! I did remember that right. Yeah, so soybean cyst nematodes are bad nematodes. They're not the good ones. They're the bad ones. You know, they're just, you know what? That's probably a good way of putting it. They're tiny little snacks. That's a pretty good way of putting it. But yeah, soybean cyst nematodes are no good. They are, like, really devastating. They will latch on to the roots of soybean plants, and then they'll just, like, munch on them, just, like, absolutely ravage fields. So a lot of farmers have to be really cautious when they plant soybeans, because if you get these tiny little bastards in your fields, you have to, like, you have to take some measures to get rid of them. They can lay dormant in the soil for 30 years, which is kind of insane. So what some farmers do is they'll plant a different crop that will trick the nematodes into sprouting and then, you know, like coming out of their hibernation. And then they'll go after this other plant instead. Like a really common one are like legumes and things like that. A lot of legumes, for whatever reason, they trick the nematodes. And the nematodes are like, nom nom, it's time. I'm gonna go eat those soybeans. And they're like, what? No! This is the wrong thing. I can't eat this. And then they starve and die. So that's good. But for farmers who have like really bad infestations of soybean cyst nematodes, it can be very difficult to deal with. Like at least with, you know, certain other illnesses and things like that, or pests that go after plants. You can have like fungicides and stuff that you can put down, but nematodes are actually really, they're too similar to humans insofar as like the evolutionary tree. So if you spray what are called nematicides to go after nematodes, it's actually crazy toxic to humans, like really, really bad. So try not to do that because it's such a pain to like deal with and make sure that like the workers who are spraying it are not going to get sick. By the way, this is not to scare you. All soybeans that you're eating are safe. They don't have nematicides like on them. It's more like during the growing process and like people living nearby soybean fields and stuff. That's like a huge concern is you don't want to be spraying that stuff. So yeah, people have to get creative about planting legumes and stuff just to try and not have the nematodes be there. Oh. I'm glad you all have enjoyed the nematode knowledge. I don't really get to talk about nematodes much at all, so. Oh my gosh, that's too funny, man. Oh, Jimmy, thank you for the gifted memberships. That's awesome. Oh my God. Also, System Philosophy, I saw you talking about a mega lake that had a bunch of biodiversity in it and things. Ah, that's so cool. I don't know, there's really cool like pockets around the planet that have just really fascinating different life forms and things. That's awesome. Yumi of the lab, what is your wisdom? The nematodes, they're good. The nematodes are good, except for when soybeans are involved, and then they're very, very bad. Speaking of like bad pest infestations, there is also like on the bacterial side, there has been some really bad bacterial infections of some fruit trees that just like has really wrecked the trees. It's been really, really bad. I'm trying to remember, the oranges, were the oranges a viral thing? Orange, or was it bananas? Banana leaf blight. Was that, I want to say that was a viral thing, but let me see. Yeah, I think that the banana thing, I'm looking them up. The banana leaf blight is terrible. Oh, at least a lot of banana leaf blight is fungal. Okay. But there are like oranges that are being grown in Florida for a while have been having some issues. I think the thing with the oranges is a viral problem, and that's really bad. That's not good to deal with. That's no good. Oh God. I can get on the hatred of flatworms train. Flatworms are really freaky looking. I'm sorry, flatworms. You're terrifying. Terrifying to have to work with. Terrifying to look at. Ugh. Flatworms, man. If you haven't ever seen a flatworm, you should definitely look up a picture of it. They're very unsettling bastards. Oh, yeah. So, gosh. So there used to be a lot of different types of bananas. And then they had a lot of problems. was a pretty devastating epidemic that went through a bunch of bananas, and the banana that was able to deal with it was the Cavendish, which is the one that we've currently got primarily. There are still other types of bananas that exist, but Cavendish is the most common. The issue right now is that there is another thing that is now affecting the Cavendish, and because of the way that bananas are produced, they're actually triploid. So boy. Plants are weird. Plants are weird and kind of dumb. I can say this as someone who worked with plants. I have the authority. Plants are weird and dumb. They don't do the nice normal thing of like diploid cells. They have like, some of them have odd sets of chromosomes. Some of them have like way too many. Like wheat, for example, is a hexaploid. It means it has like 6 different sets of chromosomes that are all matching, and that's, God. Oh, looking at a genetic map of wheat is nightmarish. I don't know that I would recommend it, but it's, oh my God. So bananas are triploid, which means that you have to produce them clonally. So you have to like take, I think that they do a lot of grafting to get like new banana trees going. So they'll take like a part of a previous banana tree and like slap it onto like a new a new area, and then they get that to grow. David Askew, I don't think I've ever heard plants being called dumb before. Listen, they're very cool, but their genetics are very dumb. They're very dumb, and it's, oh my God. I shouldn't say that because like people who study like human genetics, I feel really bad for, because it's really exhausting. There's so many weird things that they find that they're like, what? This causes what disease? Oh God, we gotta go back to the drawing board. All right, that's super weird. But like plant geneticists are over here being like, okay, we're working with wheat. This is gonna be a tough one. All right, let's do it. I'm so sorry for you saplings. As a fellow sapling, I should probably not call plants dumb. Oh man, absolutely wild. So there you have it. Plants are weird. Some of them have like odd numbers of chromosomes. Super weird. They're just kind of like doing their thing, I guess. They're just having a good time. But yeah, bananas are one of those that are just like really bizarre. And you have to clonally propagate them. And that has made things really difficult, because if you think about it, because they're clones, they will have the same susceptibilities. So if there's something that is affecting like some of the Cavendish bananas, there's a pretty good chance that all of them could be affected by it, because they're all kind of coming from like a very similar source. So that's not good. There's been talks of like trying to get some older varieties of bananas back again, because the Cavendish is struggling a bit right now. You know, the plants did get this far. Oh man. It's nice to draw hair. I like drawing hair. I also like talking about silly biology facts and things. I know I would, oh my gosh, I would love to taste old bananas. That'd be so cool. I don't know. It's pretty wild, like all of the different like varieties of plants that have come and gone as time has gone on, because like, man, disease is like a real problem, y'all. Like the number one, I'm trying to remember what it is. I think the number one culprit for like destroying crops are weeds. So like plants that you don't want to be growing. showing up in the field and then competing with the plants. That's like the number one thing. But like pretty shortly after that are like pests going and eating them. So like insects. But disease is an enormous factor, especially for certain crops. No way, disease, a problem. Oh my gosh, it's rough, man. But yeah, no, it's kind of wild. Potatoes are a really big one where, like, I'm sure a bunch of you, if you haven't heard of this already, there was a really horrible famine that happened in Ireland. It was like back in the 1800s, but it was devastating. There is a very, very terrible disease that affects potatoes. And it just, oh my God, it just demolished the potatoes. They were like pulling them out of the ground and they were rotting. And potatoes were like the lifeblood of a lot of people because they're very, very easy to grow. They have a bunch of calories in them. And it was terrible because a lot of people were just like not able to get enough food to survive. I know, I also love potatoes. They're fantastic. Do you know that particular disease that affected those potatoes, it still exists. Like that is still a problem that modern day potato farmers have to deal with. Potatoes have like some of the highest amounts of fungicide that is thrown on them because they just cannot chance it. If this fungus takes hold, it will absolutely destroy an entire crop. It's not ideal that they have to spray so much, but yeah, it is still a thing that potato farmers have to deal with, and it is very terrifying to deal with because you're not going to know if it happened until you pull up the potatoes from underground. And then at that point, you're like, oh my God, they're slimy. They've got all this fungus in them. My entire field is now infested with this stuff. And that's really bad. So yeah, like modern day potato farmers have to deal with this still, which I think is crazy. Absolutely crazy. Oh, God damn it, Clay. I don't like potatoes, especially my potato laptop. I can get behind that. I can understand. Listen, you know what? Some types of fungus are fantastic. But not this kind. This kind of fungus is very, very bad. Oh my God. Oh, it's good. It's good to draw. Not the fungus. The fungus eating the potatoes is bad. Oh, Mr. Oreo, fun fact. Life didn't give us lemons. Lemons were a hybrid of citrons and sour, bitter oranges that evolved through plant breeding over many generations and centuries. You're just right is the thing. I don't know. I think that, like, all of the plant breeding we've done to feed the planet is kind of incredible. Like, y'all, I need to express how amazing it is that we're able to grow the crops that we can. It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Like, life did not give us lemons. We gave life lemons. But yeah, no, like for real, people who did like plant breeding to create the varieties of crops that we currently have, oh my God, it's very impressive. Like very, very diligent, very time-consuming work to like try and make crops that will actually feed people, that won't like hate existing right next to each other. Because the biggest reason that weeds will kill crops is because they will outcompete the crops because they're all trying to get the same nutrients. They're trying to get the same, sunlight and things like that. So the fact that you can like take a plant and put it next to another plant and they won't like try to kill each other. They'll just grow and like you can harvest both of them at the end. That's incredible. That's so cool. I can't believe we did that. We made the plants stop fighting with each other. That's so good. The plants are actually chill now. They're like, ah, yes, I shall be in this field.
I shall exist, and I'm not going to try and kill the plant that's right next to me.
Yeah, no, plants can kill each other. Like, they will try, like, in their natural habitat. Like, forests are a really good example of this. But forests are really fascinating because they're like a constant, they seem so peaceful, right? Like, you go into a forest and you're like, oh, this is so nice. It's maybe I can hear like the sounds of nature around me. It's a nice climate in here, but really what's happening is all the plants in the forest are having a fight with each other all the time about who's gonna get the sunlight and who's gonna get the soil, who's gonna get like all of the things. It's actually like a really brutal battle that's happening. So the trees are like trying to spread out their leaves as much as possible and like get as much sunlight as they can. So like their strategy is get tall, get big, rule over the forest. But there's other plants that are doing stuff too. You've got like vines and ivy and stuff that'll grow up the trees and they're just like, I see what you're trying to do, tree. Well, what if I strangle you instead? And then they wrap around and like will like constrict the tree's growth, or they'll just like suck out nutrients from the tree, which is not great. But then you have all the stuff on the ground floor. Like all of that is fighting against each other too, because they're like, I'm gonna be a bush. I'm gonna be a bush and I'm gonna exist here. Oh, and I'm gonna fight all these other bushes for this territory. The like parts of the world that have rainforests, it is some of the most intense fighting that happens there in particular. Like there's a lot of like animal biodiversity and things like that in the rainforests, but all the plants are just trying to kill each other constantly because they're like, oh, give me that rain, give me that sunlight, get out of here, bush or tree. It is absolutely an actual blood for the blood god moment. Trees for the tree lord. You know, vines are the original tree huggers. Oh my gosh, that would be, I would love if they did like a plants at work, but like plant war. That would be wonderful. I really liked the Cells at Work anime. I thought it did a really good job of like teaching some really important facts to kids or even just adults. I mean, screw it. It's fun to watch. But yeah, I thought Cells at Work was really clever. They did a very good job of like personifying different parts of your body, but also being like, this is what a red blood cell does, and this is what the white blood cell does, and here's all these other like here's all these other cells doing important things in your body. They're gobbling stuff up. And doing important things to keep you going. I don't know. I liked that. I thought their description of cancer was really good too, because like cancerous cells are just your own cells that have gone a little crazy, and they're starting to drag all of the resources towards them because they're very, very hungry and they want to eat everything. Oh my god, the platelets were so adorable. Ah, I loved it. It was so good. They were so cute. I loved that anime so much. You know, it's actually getting a real, I don't know if it's like a stage play or if it's like a live action adaptation or something. I think it's cool though. I'm glad that it's been so popular because I think it's very nice to like, I don't know, like have a very fun way of learning information. It was kind of why I really loved, the band They Might Be Giants, in addition to doing a bunch of very silly, very funny songs. They also did a lot of, I don't know, like really informative science-based things too. Because they like, you know, they settled down and they had kids, and they wanted their kids to have a fun way to learn some information. So I like that. They're musicians that are like, I'm gonna do some fun stuff for my kids. And I'm gonna release it so other people's kids can like listen to this fun stuff too, which is cool. No, Mr. Oreo, I think you're right. The reason the platelets are portrayed so young is because they have a very short lifespan. No, the poor platelets, not like this. They're gonna live forever. They will live forever. I refuse to think otherwise. I can't think of them dying. It'd be too sad. Oh, God. Cells at Work is really fun, though. I enjoyed that when that first came out. Gosh, that was a little while ago, right? Oh, good. I've got some of the space layer stuff. That looks good. Oh. Yeah, just put it out of your mind. It's a fact that you just pretend like the platelets are fine, that they're all gonna be okay. Their lifespans are forever. They'll live forever and ever, and it'll be all okay. Oh. Okay, this is all looking good. I'm gonna go do some of this. I really like smearing stuff. That's still a holdover from when I did physical media. Because you could take your palette knife and on the canvas, you could just like do it like that. And I always really liked how that looked. Now I can do that digitally. It looks so nice. Oh, I actually don't want that direction though. Hold on. I want this to look a little more fluffy. Let's do this instead. Okay, there we go. Omnia. I'm waiting for Yumi to start drawing Yumi's other hand as a minor mind break. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be kind of nuts, huh? Okay. Wonderful. Oh my gosh, that's right. They did make us Cells at Work. Yeah, the Cells at Work Black. I had never actually watched that. So was it like a grittier version of the whole thing? Because like, I can't even imagine how that would go, you know? Like, everything was really positive and upbeat, even with like the fact that there were cancer cells and stuff in the original Cells at Work. I can't even imagine what they would be doing with like a dark, grittier version. Oh no, it's a version of an extremely unhealthy body. Ugh. Oh, that's so sad. Well. 40k Cells at Work. It all comes back to grimdark one way or another. Okay, I'm gonna do a little bit of this, and then we're gonna swap over to Mint while I color her hair. And then we're gonna talk about the things I really like about Mint. Man, it's rough because I've been so busy. I realized the timing of this particular stream is kind of rough because like recently from Hololive, one of like the OG talents with Hololive English is going to be like effectively graduating in less than a week. And like I already had this put together, so I was like, I want to make sure that I get this done before October 1st because that's Mint's birthday. And I already missed making some fan art for Doki for her birthday. But yeah, I really want to do some fan art for Myth as well because like that's a titan that's gonna be leaving. I can't believe that's gonna be happening so soon. It kind of feels surreal, if I'm being totally honest. Like, they had a really fantastic concert that was just, really emotional, and really well done. Like, they sung a lot of each other's songs and had, like, wonderful staging and choreography, and it was just really, really nice. And then to find out that Ame is going to be leaving. God. Yeah, she really has just been an incredible trendsetter. The things that she has done with 3D are absolutely incredible. Like, she's the reason that they had, for their first ever, like, anniversary, they had these really, really funny 3D models that just, it was really good. It just felt like representative of them all. It's rough, man. I can't believe that she's gonna be going. wherever she ends up, I hope the best for her, because I think that she deserves so much. She's done such an incredible job of like making Hololive into what it is, because like Hololive English was like the really big moment that Hololive took off. Like there were big Japanese talents, but none of them had been like over 1 million subscribers. Some of them were like getting closer to it, which is like, that's already really big. But like Hololive English really launched them to superstar status, because like they were just absolutely incredible. Like it really put a spotlight on Hololive and like brought in a bunch of people to the Japanese side too, because like folks are like, wait, oh my gosh, there's all of these talents that already existed here too. That's so cool. And then people went and were checking out streams and stuff. Oh God, I love the small 3D models that they have. I'm glad that at least she's been doing a lot of streaming this week. Like there was a really nice like Kiara's Holo Talk, where she interviewed Ame, and they just kind of like, I don't know, it was nice. They just like caught up on a lot of things that had happened over the last couple of years. Oh my gosh, motorcycle is so loud. And yeah, like they just were able to reflect on all of the things that they had accomplished over the last couple of years. And I think that they should be proud of that. Like, regardless of wherever folks end up, like, they did some truly incredible things. It's amazing. Oh, yeah, no, Gura's growth was crazy. Like, it was, they captured lightning in a bottle. Like, they had a really good combination of, like, Gura and Ame were, like, really big meme lords. They were also, like, trying a bunch of stuff. What is Bear doing? What is he it sounds like he's knocking on something. Oh my gosh, did he go out and get a new faucet? Damn it, I told him to wait. I think he might have gone out to get a new faucet. Our faucet has been, in the kitchen, it's been dripping nonstop, which is kind of absurd. And he was talking about doing that this weekend, and I was like, you should wait, because then I can help you with it. I think he's being tricksy. I think he's doing it while I'm streaming because he knows. God damn it. Okay, after this, I'll have to go out and see if I can help him. He'll probably be done with it already. But yeah, I don't know, like, Gura and Ame, were, like, big on, like, not just trend setting, but, like, they're just, like, genuinely very funny and entertaining to watch. Callie was just, like, all about, like, not just music production, but, like, checking out a bunch of things she'd never tried before. Like, I don't think she'd ever played Minecraft before she joined Hololive. And there was a bunch of, like, her growth as someone who, like, came to really enjoy playing a lot of games has been super, super cool. But also, she's been able to achieve some really incredible musical goals, which I just think is amazing. Like, she was, like, regardless of my thoughts on the anime itself, like, her performance for the Suicide Squad Isekai ED is really, really good. Like, I don't know, it's a banger. She had, like, a whole animated music video for that too, which was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Kiara is just a bundle of hilarity, creativity, and just, like, oh my god. I love that a bunch of moms watch Kiara. A bunch of moms are really into watching her, and I totally get it. Oh, her outfits are also incredible. And then, of course, the person who dragged me into the rabbit hole was Ina, because of her art streams. I also really liked watching her play in the early days. Like, that was the first time I'd ever seen Hollow Knight. And
And like watching her playthrough was very good and very emotional. She did a really good job with it, which was great. So yeah, I cannot believe that Ame is going to be gone. She did say that there were still some projects that were in the works, so she would still appear in future things, which I think is good. That kind of makes like the blow lessened a little bit. But God, I hope I have enough time. I hope I could actually get something out. It will probably be of the mascots for all of Myth, because I love drawing mascots, and they all have very adorable mascots, so. Oh, magical. God, yeah, it's gonna be... It's definitely going to be different without Ame there. But I'm really glad that they were able to do like a really, really wonderful concert before she's going to be taking off. And then she'll still appear in some future things, which is great. I know that would be wonderful if she would still appear in other people's streams. I know that she's for sure going to show up in like some music videos and things, because she talked about still being involved in that, which is great. But yeah, no, it's wild. Absolutely wild. I still can't believe it's been 4 years. Like, that feels kind of unreal, honestly. It's just like... I can't believe that 4 years has already passed since they started. That's kind of wild to think about. A lot has happened in 4 years. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Mr. Oreo, yes. I know that it can be, especially like with VTubers, there's this, I don't know if I want to say like, it's not a stereotype, but it's a thing that's said a lot about VTubers where like, you gotta hold on to them because they won't last forever. And like, I think what I would probably say to that is that, like, these people are entertainers. Like, non-trivially, that's what I'm doing, too. I really, really love this channel. And even if I were to, like, join with an agency, I would keep this model, because, like, I'm pretty attached to it. It's been really good. But I also, like, folks who end up graduating or moving on to other things, if you look for them, you will be able to find them again, which is very good. But I can definitively tell you all, like, with no, 100% certainty that I will never, like, join something like Hololive, because like the amount of travel that's involved and like the amount of like having to get up at crazy hours of the day and like do streaming with folks that are in completely different time zones. Oh my God, it would be a lot. I'm kind of amazed that they're able to do it, you know? Like, holy shit, I'm really impressed with them. I don't know how they ever get any sleep. But like, especially recently, a lot of Hololive talents, they just have to travel so much. It's crazy. I know it can be like really hard for them to do too. I'm honestly hoping that they make them travel a little less, because like, oh, that's a lot, man. Like having to travel to Japan multiple times a year, and then like you have to stay there for a while. Like some of the talents have animals, they've got roommates, they've got like people that are waiting for them back at home, and it's really rough to leave for that much time. Like anyone who has like a job that makes them travel, it takes a toll. It's really difficult to do for a long period of time. So yeah, I sincerely hope that they cut down on that. Like they recently opened up like an actual office that's in the United States, which is really good. I really hope that that office will have like a 3D studio that they can go and record stuff in, because at least that's easier than having to fly to Japan, you know? Because a lot of the talents, like some of them live in Japan or like near-ish to it. But a lot of them don't. Like, a bunch of them live in the United States or Canada. Kiara, like, spends a lot of time in Austria, and, like, that's just a lot, man. It's a lot to have to travel for that stuff. Oh, I don't know. I know myself well enough to know that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do the traveling. Because, like, having to leave Bear for, like, prolonged periods of time would be really rough. Like, I already had to do, like, a bunch of long distance stuff in the early years when we were dating, and I just never again. Already, whenever he has to go on business trips for, like, 2 days, I'm like, take me with you. Oh, I don't want to have to, I'm not gonna sleep. I'm gonna be so sad. I'm like a sad dog. And it's sad because Bear doesn't sleep well either. I don't know, it's just like, if you're used to someone being there when you sleep, it's just, I don't know. It kind of messes with you a bit. I do have a body pillow that I'll sleep with whenever he has to go on business trips. Okay. Here's the thing, though. For real, though, I do actually have to get, like, extra blankets, and I have to have, like, the heated blanket and stuff when Bear isn't here, because in addition to, like, him just, like, not physically being there in the bed, like, it's also just, like, I don't know. It's very cold. I'm a very cold creature. Oh, God. But yeah, Clay, I can imagine Yumi curling around Bear, begging him to take her with him. I've had to, like, train myself to, like, I don't know, just, like, not be so cripplingly sad whenever he has to go. Because, like, you know, like, his job will occasionally take him traveling places and stuff. And God knows, like, we both had to travel in some capacity for things. And I'm trying to be less of a sad dog whenever he has to go. Because I always feel so bad because he's just so worried about me the whole time. He's like, are you okay? And are you gonna be all right? Can you feed yourself? And I know that sounds silly, but, like, legit, like, oh, y'all, I'm a really bad cook. Like, I am terrible. I have zero cooking instincts whatsoever. I had to feed myself when I lived in Germany for a little bit, and I lost so much weight. It was kind of terrifying. I didn't even have that much weight to lose, and I lost so much weight because I was just so goddamn bad at it. I'd like, I did such a bad job cooking things. I was terrible at, like, planning for how to cook things. This is a skill that I want to develop. I can't just rely on Bear all the time, especially, you know, like, when he gets sick. Like, I can't just have this poor man cooking food all the time. You know, I have to actually cook for myself. I have to figure out how to do this in a way that doesn't take, like, 5 hours and then, like, gives me food poisoning. Magical. Like, how bad? Like, burning cereal bad? I once burnt a bunch of rice because I just, like, let it run for way too long. Like, it was congealed at the bottom and it was all completely burnt. It was really, really bad. I also was trying to make like, some scrambled eggs, and I misread the recipe. It said to add oh my god, I'm trying to remember. It said to add chives. And I grabbed a bunch of cumin instead. And so I substituted, like, 2 tablespoons of cumin for 2 tablespoons of chives. And then I was talking to Bear afterwards because this was during the long distance when I was living in Germany. And I was explaining this to him afterwards, and he was like, you see, how did the eggs go? Like, how did everything go? Like, was it fine with the recipe? And I was like, yeah, you know, they had a really strong taste. They were brown. And he was like, what? What do you mean they were brown? I'm like, well, yeah, I followed the recipe. I added a bunch of cumin. And he was like, no, Yumi. Okay, in my defense, I was living in a country, I can't say that though, I knew German. I can't be like, I was living in a country, in a foreign country, and, you know, things were called different stuff. I can't say that. I can't say that at all. Oh my god. You know, it was really bad. It was really, really bad. At one point, I was trying to like, he was actually, I'm trying to remember when this was, because he was actually, I think he was visiting for a little bit. And I was trying to cut an onion. And I was doing it the way you're not supposed to. I now know that you're not supposed to do it this way. When you cut something, you should really try to like form like a cat's paw with your hands, so that if the knife comes, like the flat side of the knife, if it comes into contact with your hand, it should be like a flat surface, you know, like you shouldn't have like any of your fingers outstretched. It's much better if you curl it so that your knuckles come into contact with the knife. It just makes like the risk of like massively hurting yourself much better. You also get like a better grip on the thing. I do mercifully have all my fingers, but when he saw me cutting this onion, I was just like manhandling it. I was just like holding it in my, like really poorly holding it on the cutting board, and Bear was like, oh my god, what are you doing? What are you doing? Hold on, let me show you how to do this right. This is, unfortunately, I have had to teach myself many things because I was not taught these things in the underground at all. I was not taught how to cook. And unfortunately, I have developed no skill for it as a result. But I was never taught how to properly hold a knife. I was never taught how to like, I had to learn how to break eggs, you know, like you have like an egg and then like you crack it and then you open it. I didn't know how to do that. So like I had to learn how to crack open an egg. That was an adventure. I got a lot of egg all over the place, and I still get, I have a pretty good chance of getting shells in whatever thing it is that I'm trying to crack it into. So I try to have like a separate container that I crack the eggs into, because then I have to go and fish out the shells that hopped into it. So Yumi was playing Fruit Ninja with an onion. Yeah, so the cat's paw thing, it's just because for whatever reason you have a slightly better grip on whatever it is you're holding when you do that. Because if you think about it, if you're just holding it with like the flat part of your fingers, as opposed to like gripping it with like more of like your fingernails and things like that, you just have like a better grip on it if you try to curl your hands a little bit. But here's the thing, if you've been cutting just fine without doing that, it's okay. I was just doing it so badly that Bear was terrified I was gonna chop off a finger. And then use the eggshells as fodder for fertilizer. See, that's genius. That's perfect. So yeah, at some point I have to go on a food journey. I need to actually get better at cooking things. I'm actually at the point, I've watched enough of Bear cooking, and I've watched enough like food documentaries and things that I know the words now. I know what a meringue is. I know what, like, you know, short crust pastry or like other types of fillings and things. I know these things. Oh no! No wonder Bear's hair is white. All this time I thought it was just because he was a polar bear, but you're probably right. I've just completely stressed the poor man out. Oh god. So yeah, you've learned my deep dark secret that I am criminally bad at cooking to kind of a frightening degree. I have no intuition for it whatsoever. It's actually terrible. Like, at least like, I don't know. I've watched like other people cook, and like even if they're not entirely sure what they're doing, they're like able to kind of figure it out. But I don't know if just the fact that I never helped with cooking at all as a child, and then I was fed gray steak. Horrible, horrible, unspeakable things. But yeah, no, it's, oh god. A cooking stream with just me floundering about. If I ever do like a hand cam stream, it would definitely be me painting like Warhammer models or something. At some point though, I have thought about like for a member stream or something, trying to do like a cooking training arc or something. Because I really gotta get better at this. I want to at least be able to make, if I can make like congee, like rice porridge, that would be great, because that's something for like if I'm feeling unwell. I would like to be able to make that. I do know how to make fried eggs now. I can reliably make fried eggs, which is great. I only burn myself like 30% of the time. That's much better than before when it was most of the time. I'm much better at quickly grabbing like a pan to put over the top in case the oil like hops up to burn me. Oh God. Second anniversary Yumi stream idea, cooking stream. Oh man. Oh, system philosophy. In Japan, we have home economics, and every middle school or high school students take this class to learn how to cook. That is unfortunately not as much of a thing, at least in the United States. I actually did have a home economics class, but it was really bad. It was really bad. We made a bunch of bullshit. Like, if I'm being completely honest, they're like, let's learn how to make ice cream. Like, who the hell is gonna be making ice cream? Unless, like, that's a thing you're into, you know? Like, teach me how to fry an egg, damn it. That was useful things. Teach me how to use a can opener before I'm, like, an embarrassing age. And not knowing how to do it yet. Ugh. So yeah, no, they did not teach us how to actually cook things. They were just like, let's make, I think we made applesauce. It's not like applesauce is bad, but like teach me how to cook a chicken, you know? That's something I should probably know. Teach me how to cook like, rice, or like teach me how to use a rice cooker. Man, that's a really sad thing. So in the United States, like it's a lot more common for meals to be served with like bread or like a salad, or I'm trying to think of like other things. I guess like potatoes is another common thing. So a lot of folks like don't have rice cookers. If they ever cook rice, they do it on the stovetop. And it's not like you can't do that, but like, oh my God, when Bear and I bought a rice cooker, like a good rice cooker for the first time, we were like, this is magic. What the hell have we been doing? Here's the thing. Okay, I can use a rice cooker now because it's super easy. It's Yumie-Proof. This is what I'm saying. Everyone should have a rice cooker. The official Yumi endorsement. If Yumi can use a rice cooker, it's perfect. Everyone should use it. It's so easy. You just fill up, you pour in the rice. It has a little cup that like has exactly how much you want, and you pour it in. And then you pour in the water up to the fill line, and then you stick it in the rice cooker, and then you push a button, and then the button does it. It cooks it for you. It's amazing. You know, a bunch of people still don't have rice cookers. We introduced rice cookers to Bear's family, and it's like revolutionized their lives. Bear's mom was like, I don't know why I wasn't using this before. Oh no, sorry. I do wash the rice. Sorry, I do that part too. But like it's super easy. You just take the rice, you just rinse it a couple times. You be very careful not to pour it all down the drain. And then you put it in the rice cooker. Super easy. My apologies, so skipping over the washing of the rice. My point is that it's Yumi-Proof. Everyone should have a rice cooker. It's amazing. They're so good. Yeah, ours also plays a cute little song when it's done. Like, that has been one of the best cooking investments that we've made, is a rice cooker. Because, like, you just set it and forget it. You can tell it to start cooking the rice at a certain time, and then it'll be done. And then you're like, yeah, now I got this tasty, fresh rice. Oh, it's so good. Thankfully, I have not poured it all down the drain before. I did once pour some of the rice down the drain, and I felt a little stupid. But never again. I haven't done it since then. I've perfected my rice washing technique so that I don't do that now. So this is not sponsored or anything, but the one that we have, I think it's a Zojirushi. Let me check. It's one of the ones that like costs a little bit more. You don't have to get one of those, but that's the one that we've got. Yeah, Zojirushi rice cooker. Just something that's like that is good, because like, oh, rice cookers are wonderful. Just something that actually has like a decent rice cooking function. There's some like really cheap rice cookers that aren't amazing, but like they're fine. They're better than doing it on the stove. But I would highly recommend rice cookers. They're revolutionary. Bear's sister, is a couple years younger than us, and that was a big thing that we got for her, was like a rice cooker, and she has loved it. So that's good. I'm very happy about that. Oh, rice cookers are good, man. They're just super good. Oh my gosh, that's actually fantastic to hear. That was what we had heard, was that was like just kind of a good universal brand. And I can vouch for it. It's been fantastic. It's super easy to clean. It makes spectacular rice. Extremely big fan. But yeah, so that's a really good shout out. You want to rinse your rice ahead of time, because if you don't, it has kind of a weird film that forms over it. It's not like it's bad. You can totally eat it, but if you want like really nice fluffy rice with no weird film, you're gonna want to wash it ahead of time. So you just like fill up, you like pour the rice in your little like rice cooker, I guess bowl, and then you fill it up with water and you just drain it out a couple of times. Like you keep rinsing it until it's not cloudy, and then you fill it up to the line, you stick it in your rice cooker, and then you let the rice cooker do the thing. Oh yeah, I think the film is some like, I don't know if I think it is like rice starch in some capacity. And again, it's not like it's bad, it's just like, I don't know. It's like a kind of a weird texture. And it's not going to be on all of your rice, but it'll be like kind of on the top of it. And that's weird. So if you don't want that to be there, just rinse your rice ahead of time. You'll have a good shot. Oh my gosh. Do I have a favorite brand of rice? Oh, I'd have to hit Bear up for that. Hold on. Let me reach out to him. We have a couple of different ones. Let me go. I'm gonna ask him, hey, what brands of rice do we buy the most? Because we've tried a bunch of things. There's a couple of different Asian markets that we go and check out, and you can buy like enormous bags of rice. Like, frankly, unconscionable amounts of rice. But you end up going through it. Like, I don't know, we eat a lot of rice. Rice is really good, so I don't know. I'm also a really big fan of bread. I don't have like a preference one way or the other. I like rice and I like bread. Oh my god, we actually have a takoyaki machine. I bought one after Ina made some takoyaki on stream. So it's been a couple years that we've had it. But yeah, we can make takoyaki with it. Oh my gosh. I'm a big fan of takoyaki. It's very, very tasty. It's super good. Oh, I hope you all have a rice day as well. Oh man. Oh my god, a magical, I saw you talking about, god, that your poor bread molded so fast. That's the biggest sad danger of bread, is that like, I love it to death, but it doesn't stay good for very long. That's so tragic. It's so nice and tasty until it's not. And then you try to go and consume it and you're like, this is wrong, it's all moldy now. Oh god. But yeah, I've sent a text to Bear asking what are the brands of rice that he's liked a lot, because I know we tried a bunch of different ones. Actually, I could just go ask him real quick. Hold on. That's a decent chance for a break too. I'll have you all listen to this nice music and I can get myself some more water. And yes, I am indeed going to play some more Little Goody Two Shoes. I look forward to that. I've actually been playing a lot of it off stream. I've got a couple of different save files that we're gonna bounce between, just so that I can like have you folks see as much of the story as we can. So it's gonna be good. Ask him what he thinks. Oh, I will be. God damn, I cannot believe. I think that he was like getting the sync replaced. Okay. All right, I'm gonna be back in just a second, y'all. I will return soon. Hello, hello. I've brought a bear.
I've been recruited. I'm not exactly sure I understand the question, but...
Oh, it's just like if there's a preferred brand of rice that we like to use.
Kinda. You gotta pick what you're looking for, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for my general purpose, mostly Chinese cooking, I'll use like Three Sisters brand, like medium grain Thai jasmine rice.
Oh yeah, that shit's good.
But it's really about what's available to you. Particularly like if you're looking to make more Japanese dishes, there's a few. In my neck of the woods, Nishiki's okay, but it's kind of hard to get good Japanese rice where I'm at.
Yeah.
It's more about finding varietals that you enjoy. It's very much dependent on the type of dish you want to make. The more Indian dishes you want to make, traditionally they use more long grain rices, so you'll be looking for that. Getting the right like varietal of rice will make more of a difference than individual brands. Once you are at a point where you can distinguish between these and appreciate that, and you're looking for more, then look for producers that are like reasonably closer to you and or have some kind of pedigree. If you want to ruin yourself, there's an entire shitty anime about Japanese rice microvarietals.
It's great. I've talked about it before. We love rice.
Yeah.
It's extremely entertaining.
So for in general, I think a good multi-purpose rice is a fragrant jasmine rice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do a lot of jasmine. It's just like...
Yeah, it's a good all-purpose... it's a good all-purpose rice. Then if you're looking for something that will hold up more, if you want to stick your chopsticks in and come away with a sizable chunk, you'll be looking for a short grain rice. There are a few... I think Kushkari fits this, but it's good, but where I'm at, it's overpriced. For
Yeah,
what
that's
you get.
that's the unfortunate
But
thing.
like, go to your local Asian grocer and look for decent short grain rice. I will give you a warning. So, sweet rice is a weird category where it's okay. So we do this thing in the English language where we lie about things all the time. And one of those is sweet rice, also called glutinous rice, and it contains neither gluten nor is it really sweet. Marginally more so than other varietals, but the point is that you can mash that and it'll be really sticky rice. So if you're looking to make something like a sticky rice, or if you're trying to pound that into mochi, then I'd be looking for that. Or similarly, I think it's a decent choice for making something like ohagi, but haven't undertaken that myself. And then, like I said, there's a lot of long grain varietals, and these are for things like biryani, or they're really good at like separating, so they'd make a halfway decent pilaf rice. So,
ooh, yeah.
If there's any other questions, I'm here, so you can go ahead and shoot. Otherwise, I'll take my leave.
Yeah, no, thank you. That was really good. I told them about our Zojirushi rice cooker, and then also just talked about how rice cookers are amazing. I also unfortunately revealed the true depths of my inability to cook. I told them the Cumin egg story.
Even years in retrospect, it blows me away, because the recipe was that she was very bad at feeding herself, and so from a distance I had to try and communicate a recipe to her. And I'm like, I know I sent you a tolerable bottle of white wine, and you probably didn't finish that, so you could use some of that with some chives or green onions into a quick little omelet. And she, of course, had no idea like how to make an omelet or whatever. But I'm like, you can basically just scramble eggs too. It doesn't have to be fancy. And at no point in the process did she think, I bet cumin goes really well with white wine. I believe it was Chablis too, so it wasn't even particularly faint. I wrote it right.
Oh yeah, no, you did not mess up that recipe. It was 100% me, especially when we looked over it afterwards and you're like, no, it says chives. And I'm like, oh. Oh no, it does. It does say chives. But yeah, no, they all did get to hear my magnificent cooking of the past.
Look, I'll be real. After having observed you try to cook by yourself, I'm just amazed you have all your digits still.
I know, that's what they were saying too. I was explaining how I used to cut an onion, and they're like, how many fingers do you have?
How do you mean how you used to cut an onion?
Oh yeah, remember? That was the one where you freaked out because I wasn't doing this. I was just like, meh. Like
yeah, okay. It's not that you have your fingers fully extended so much as it was that you were hacking away at an onion like you were trying to behead it rather than turn it into a mince.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah, that's also true. I can make a fried egg now, though. I can make rice. That was why rice came up, because it's Yumie-Proof.
Okay. Are you really making rice at that point, though?
Shh! It counts. It counts. This is my pitch for rice cookers. If I can use them,
I would argue that I can't make proper rice. Like, I can do an okay clay pot rice, but it's not good.
Hey, I like your clay pot rice. We should try that again soon. That shit was really tasty.
Okay, I'm not talking about the Chinese dish. I'm talking about the traditional, like, nabe.
Oh, sorry. You know what? You're right. Context indicates that you were talking about cooking just the rice, but you said clay pot rice, and my brain went blank, and I'm like, yes, clay pot rice with the chicken. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I saw a comment in the chat there where, so learning spices is a good way to start, and the way I would suggest is picking a cuisine that you're interested in and learning the basic role players. So, and this is painting with an overly wide brush, and forgive me for simplifying for beginners. But most cuisines have like a base flavor palette of like 4 to 5 spices, and you can build out from there, and like your understanding will develop as you work on some of those cooking. Particularly my wife, when she started, basically only knew seasoned salt as well.
God, which is so sad.
Like understanding what works in a blend and what part of a blend that you like are good, but those are next steps and can logically come out of doing some of this learning. If you're into baking, for example, pumpkin pie spice is made up of 4 or 5 baking spices that you'll use in a variety of applications. And you can obviously pick up on the cinnamon pretty quickly, but like it doesn't take too much of making dishes that are more focused on clove or allspice, or ginger, to like really pull out those elements and figure out why you like that and why you might want one or more in your more or less of one or the other in your personal pumpkin pie spice ratio.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like Japanese food because it's relatively easy and consistent to like understand the basic flavors.
Yeah, that's very true.
Soy, ginger, green onion, sugar, and that can either be mirin or just crystallized sugar. Not so much rock sugar, but a little bit, and sake. And these together form like a really cohesive base. And then like dashi is its own thing, but like you can use hondashi for now to get the vibe. Just think of it as pure umami. And that's a really good base to get you to start understanding and pulling out flavors as you cook with them. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'll take my leave now. I hope that was helpful to someone.
It absolutely was. Thank you. Thank you. Oh. He was thankfully playing a video game. He was not messing with the sink, so we are all right.
If you like mint chocolate ice cream, you can definitely put things on. You can put it on whatever you want. I am also now hungry. Oh my gosh. Also, hold on. I missed. I know. Thank you, System Philosophy, for the super chat that I saw of a bear. We heard Yumi's magnificent cooking of the past. And magical. Thank you for the super chat. I would like to confess, I am a pasta addict. Listen, pasta's really good. Okay, I think that is extremely based. That is extremely fantastic. But yeah, that does conclude Bear's Cooking Corner. I appreciate the hell out of that, man. I've learned a lot about like food and cooking and how to like eat tasty things that I've wanted to enjoy. So yeah. Oh, hello. Welcome back.
One last spice note, because it was on the back of my brain.
Yeah, come back.
Something that can help a lot with figuring out what a spice does is breathing it. Particularly if you smell a spice, that's something akin to like 80% of tasting it, because it's mostly aromatics. So if you take a bite of something plain like scrambled eggs and smell the relevant spices, you'll get a very similar sensation of what it would be like if you had added that seasoning to the dish. And in general, it also gives you like a pretty good vibe for why you'd want to pick it up in these contexts. It doesn't help so much with things that have capsaicin or might react and create like spice or heat reaction, but it's a good starting point to understand why you might want to add this. If you're like, this is off, before I add X, why don't I taste X or smell X and then smell the spice I'm considering adding?
So this is what I should have done with the cumin.
I should have smelled the cumin and been like, this is gonna taste crazy if I put this in here.
I mean, here's the thing. Cumin is fine to go in styles of eggs.
Oh yeah, no,
That's
totally.
not the issue.
Totally.
Here's the thing. You messaged me in the middle of like, I don't know, 2 tablespoons seems like a lot. And I'm like, well, it's dry herbs, so it really shouldn't be, or I guess like, it's fresh herbs, excuse me. So it shouldn't be that much. You had the good sense to say 2 tablespoons of any ground dry herb is crazy. That's an unreasonable amount. It's just that you were reassured by someone who you believed was competent an ocean away.
Yeah, and then I just had brown, very, very cuminy eggs. I'm like, man, this is really strong. It's kind of hard to eat these, but I'm sure I did it right. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no. It's a lot, man. So anyway, that's a decent thing. Thank you, Bear. Thank you so much. Bye. Wonderful. The bear cooking corner continued. We have indeed been blessed by Bear twice. I'm always really happy when he can share his cooking tips, because I think it's helpful just for like going through. And yeah, obviously like certain things are gonna depend on like some spices, obviously, like might not be as easy to like get a feel for compared to others, but it's a decent like overall thought to have, especially if you're a snake who is thinking about adding cumin to her eggs in large proportions. Mistakes were made that day. Oh, do you want to hear the most embarrassing thing about that entire story? I made it 2 more times after that. It wasn't just the one time. I didn't tell Bear about the weird taste until I'd consumed it 3 separate times, because I had my brain was so thoroughly ruined by the underground and how bad things tasted there that I'm like, ooh, this is rough, but this isn't the worst thing I've tasted. At least it actually has some flavor. Oh god. When like I've had Bear's cooking that's like actually good. At this point, I can actually say that too, because we've been to a bunch of different restaurants too. Like this is not just that I'm biased. Like I've actually had a bunch of different food at a bunch of different places, and Bear is actually like a good cook. But like when he was cooking things, oh, it was incredible. Like food can taste good. What? Yeah, exactly. It was better than charred steak. The steak that I had growing up was just, whoo boy. Okay, so I'm now going to tell you all some more of the things that I ate when I was underground. Maybe some of this will make some sense. So a lot of you are already familiar with the gray steak that I was fed. It was steak that had been cooked in a broiler until it lost all color, all texture, all semblance of being. It was the saddest steak that ever existed. And then it had no flavoring on it, no butter, no salt, no pepper, nothing. And then there was just like heaps of orange seasonal that was put over the top. You know, honestly, picturing Bellabog is not the craziest thing, if I'm being totally real. It was unseasoned jerky. Here's the thing. I still think that's a sad offense to actual jerky, because at least actual jerky has like texture to it, you know? Whereas the gray steak was just like, there was no crust. There was no like semblance of texture whatsoever. It was just very soggy. It was a soggy steak. A soggy gray steak. And if there was too much blood in it, I just put it in the microwave. So that's one of the horrible things that I consumed in the underground. But it had like some truly terrible things. I was actually talking with Bear about this the other day because, like, oh my God. So we've been watching a lot of the Great British Bake Off, which has been super fun. It's been a couple years since we've watched like some of the first seasons. We only watched through season 7 because that's when it changes production places and they get new hosts, and I can't watch it without Sue and Mel. I just can't do it. And also Mary leaves. Mary was like a bundle of joy in that series. Like, she was a really good foil to how harsh Paul can be. And I just can't do it without her. But we've been watching that, and it was making me remember some of the horrid things that I had growing up. For one thing, I finally learned that, like, most of the pie things that I had growing up had, like, horribly soggy bottoms, which just means that, like, all the moisture from the filling has seeped into the bottom of the pie, and then when you pick it up, it's just, like, this soppy mess. So that was a lot of what I had growing up, but we also had, like, casseroles. So casseroles are, like, you take a bunch of, like, meat or, like, vegetables and a bunch of cheese and, like, some sort of filling. Most of the time it's mayonnaise. And you just, like, slap it in this big rectangular glass pan. And then you just put it in the oven until it dies, you know? I had a lot of casseroles growing up that were just, like, overcooked chicken to the point where it was, like, rubbery. So, like, really rubbery chicken. And then after it was rubbery, you would throw it in this glass pan. And then you would, like, drown it in mayonnaise. Like, so much mayonnaise, it was crazy. Absolutely insane. Here's the thing. Oh God, a hot dish is, like, actually, I've had some good hot dish. Like, that's a very Midwestern thing. They just call casseroles hot dish. I've had some good hot dish. The casseroles I had growing up were not good. They'd have a bunch of mayonnaise that was in there, and then broccoli would be thrown in with it. And I like broccoli. I think broccoli is totally fine. This broccoli was not okay. There was something wrong with this broccoli. I don't know. There's something wrong with it. And then you would, like, have this huge layer of cheese on top of it. And, like, I'm lactose intolerant. Like, I can't I don't do so good with, like, consume the milk things unless I've had like some supplements or something that actually have lactase in them. By the way, no one in the underground believed that I was lactose intolerant, so they just continued to feed me milk products. They're like, you're so horribly skinny, have more of the milk. And I'm like, but the milk makes me feel ill. And they're like, you're just a picky eater. And I'm like, okay. And then you consume the milk and you're like, oh my God, I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And here's the thing, I think that, like, cheese tastes really good, which is probably why I was even able to stomach it, but, like, oh boy, I always wondered why I had so many strange issues as a child, and it turns out there's a lot of things that I couldn't eat. You know, lactase tablets are amazing. It makes it so I can actually eat things that have milk in it and not die, which is great. I have to be careful though, because some things have so much, like, metric tons of milk in it that it's hard to consume. Like, I have to be really careful with eggnog. We actually found some lactose-free eggnog last year, and I cried. I was so happy. I really like the taste of eggnog, but it absolutely just messes me up. It's so bad. There's so much lactose in there. So I was very, very happy that we were able to find that. But yeah, so this, like, horrible dish with this rubbery chicken and, like, this frozen broccoli and a bunch of mayonnaise and then a bunch of cheese on top. That was just put in the oven for, like, close to an hour. Like, why? Why did it need to be in there that long? That's completely ridiculous. And then it came out and it's just this horrible, like, oh, if it was like a I don't know. I think that was the true cryptid that was down in the underground, was this horrible casserole that you just take out and it's just, you try to pick it up with like a spoon and it's just congealed together in this horrible thing. That was one of the better things I had in the underground too. Like some of the other stuff was just, it would downright just give me food poisoning. I don't know. Like anything that actually had like, I don't know, like, there was a lot of pork dishes that I had that would like make me feel unwell. And I actually, it's not because they cooked the pork poorly, they actually overcooked the pork, because again, they were terrified of things. And it's not like it's a bad thing to cook your pork, but it was too much. But no, it was just, they'd actually like scorch it. They'd like burn the pork, and like eating all of that burnt stuff was really gross. Like it made my stomach feel pretty bad. So that wasn't great. The applesauce did not save it. The applesauce did not help the pork. Oh god. Yeah, I don't know if like the people in the underground took lessons from Judy, but like the fact that I am still like alive and kicking is nothing short of a miracle. I don't know. It's something that like I personally, in hindsight, find kind of frustrating because like there were a lot of signs that like I was not being fed super well like as a kid, but like all of the, I don't know, to be fair, like the snakes in the underground specifically sought out doctors that like wouldn't say anything about it, that would just like nod and be like, oh well, you know, you're in the 0th percentile. But I'm sure you'll grow. That's, you know, that's normal for young snake girls. And I'm like, is it though? Why would it be called the 0th percentile if it was normal? That means that like if you took 100 kids and you put them in a room, like I would be smaller than all the rest of them. Like all of them. I would be smaller than all of them. Yeah, no, I am extremely happy that, like, I can appreciate good food now. It has been quite a journey. It has been quite a journey to get to this point, but I am so happy that I can actually have good food now, that it's not just going to kill me all the time. It's been kind of sad because, like, Bear and I have also found out that I have, like, a lot of food problems. I don't know if, like, all of these existed, like, for my entire life, or if my constitution is just so bad that like as I've gotten older, you can unfortunately develop more food problems as you get older. Like I can't eat avocados now or like apples. I think that's so sad. That's so sad. I actually haven't been able to eat apples for a long time. They make my stomach like hurt really bad. Like it will actually seize up a little bit, which is not great. So we've had to be like careful about the food that I eat. But thankfully it has been a lot better. I feel really bad for poor Bear, because the poor dude has to like take into account all the stupid things that I can't eat very well. And I'm the kind of person that like, if someone feeds me something that I know that I can't eat, I will just eat it anyway because I don't want them to feel bad. Like, whenever we go to visit Bear's mom, she'll cook things and I'll just like, without question, I'll just go and eat them. And then I'll like be unwell afterwards. And she got like really, like reasonably upset about this. She's just like, just tell me what you can't eat. I don't want to keep killing you. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I feel bad that I have these problems. I don't want to make it your problem. I'll just deal with it on my own. But I don't know. That's something that I've had to like get over. Like this idea that like I can't trouble other people with my problems. Like it's better to just tell them. Just tell them what the problem is. Yeah, you know, it's sad. It's all apples. We tried cooked apples to see if it was fine, and it's like the core component of the apple. It has a lot of something called sorbitol. Apparently sorbitol just like completely messes me up. It's also something that's in like other stone fruits and things like that. So like cherries and peaches, which is really sad. But I can have a bunch of other fruits. So like strawberries and blueberries are totally fine. But yeah, sorbitol apparently for Snake Lady is bad. It makes me have a very bad time. Tsunami, she was an allergy girl. He was an omnivore boy. It is terrible. I am just allergic to everything. It's awful. And that's the thing. I'll never know if like I just had a bad constitution this whole time, or if the fact that I was like not given proper nutrition has just completely ruined me. It's kind of like impossible to know for sure. All I know is that I'm just screwed. I do have to be a little bit cautious about the things I eat. But yeah, thankfully I'm not like horribly thin anymore, like frighteningly thin. So that's great. Big fan. actually learned that I was able to like become a healthy weight. It's wonderful. Oh no, I can't do plums either. Do you know how horrible that is? Plums are so tasty. Oh, stupid. No, Tsukitsune, you also can't have any sweeteners to end with all. Oh, a kindred soul, I'm so sorry. There's something about it like especially if you have certain like gastrointestinal issues, like I do, it's apparently pretty common for you to not be able to have certain types of like sweeteners and things. Some people struggle with like fructose, which is so sad. That's so sad. I don't know, I say that. I can't do sorbitol, so like I'm not in a much better position. Allergy for Yumi is an egg and snake problem. That's just true. I don't know which one came first, but I know that I've got it now, so I have to deal with it. I'm allergic to the grass. I'm allergic to I'm allergic to a lot of metals. No, I'm not a vampire, I promise. Definitely no relation whatsoever. Yeah, it's kind of insane. I feel like it's something that like, it's unfortunate because like as you get older, there are going to be some foods that you might start to struggle with. And that is okay if that is the case. It just means that you're getting older and you just gotta be conscientious about certain things. There's nothing wrong with that. It is frustrating sometimes because things taste really good. I think, oh my God, Jesus, the motorcycles, man. Good God. The thing I'm the most devastated about is avocados, actually, because I really, really like getting to have avocados with like a lot of Mexican dishes. And I'm pretty devastated that avocados like really, really badly screw me up. So I have to... I can't have the avocados. It's terrible. I actually learned that after eating a bunch of guacamole, and I was so devastated. It was terrible. It's terrible, man. Yeah, you know, actually, I'm really glad that, you know, there's a lot of people on the planet who are lactose intolerant. The fact that there's so many food things that existed for so long that were sold, like, pretending like half the planet isn't, like, more than half the planet actually is not lactose tolerant. It's nice that there's a lot of foods now that, like, you can actually buy. Like, they do make a bunch of ice cream that is lactose free, which is wonderful, so I can actually eat those. Some of them are better than others. Ben & Jerry's has some that are really tasty, but unfortunately their lactose free Cherry Garcia I don't think is very good, and I'm very sad about that because I really liked Cherry Garcia, even though it made my guts feel really bad. It tasted really good. This is my problem. I'll eat a thing and I'll be like, oh, that was so beautiful. And then several hours later, I'll be like, oh no. My hubris. Oh, I've been punished for liking this thing and then not thinking about the fact that it had milk in it. Oh, but yeah, nowadays, I just completely avoid anything that has sorbitol in it because I know it's just gonna wreck my life. It's honestly like having stuff that has lactose in it doesn't feel very good. Like I feel a little ill, and like it isn't great. But I had like a much worse reaction with like avocados. Like I felt so bad. Oh my god, I thought I had food poisoning. I felt so ill. That was really bad. But yeah, it's rough, man. Oh yeah, and that's true. So that's a really cool evolutionary thing. So yeah, folks who can actually digest lactose, I think it's cool because that was a thing that came out of cultures that domesticated cows or like goats and things that produced milk. And so as a result, like the humans that were actually, I guess humans and snake people, that were actually able to process that, like actually create lactase that could break that down, they were able to survive for longer. And so, yeah, I think it's super cool that like there are like groups of humans that can actually consume lactose. I just kind of wish that like more advertising and like development went into non-lactose stuff, because there's a lot of us. There's a lot of us that can't digest lactose. And I want to still have tasty things. Like milk tastes really good, so please let me have like the milk products that aren't going to kill me. Thank you. That would be wonderful. Yeah, no, avocados do have a lot of sorbitol. It's really bad. Oh my god, I had some guacamole and like just, oh, it was bad. It was actually you folks that helped me realize it was the sorbitol thing. I posted about it on Twitter, actually. I was like, I don't know what's wrong with the avocado, but it's hurting me. And some folks pointed out the sorbitol thing, and I'm like, oh my god, wait. That's the same thing that's with all these other foods that I had issues with. So yeah, it was all coming together. Brute force drinking milk till genetics caught up. It's kind of incredible, honestly, that like there were people that were able to get the lactase going, you know? Oh man. No, also, before I forget, I did want to mention, I talked a little bit about the things I really like about Doki. I wanted to talk really quickly about the things I liked about Mint too, and then I'm sure I'll go back to talking about biology and my inability to cook again. But Mint is really awesome. She is also kind of obsessed with Blue Archive, which is great. I'm glad that she's super into it. But beyond that, she's just like a really creative person. She has done some of the most incredible like project planning I've ever seen. I've been really inspired by a lot of the stuff that she does, like coordinating with a lot of people to create really beautiful things. She also has an insanely good singing voice. Like her karaoke streams are hands down my favorites to listen to. She also can sing for so long. Her last, like, oh my god, her last karaoke stream, like, she sang like 30 songs. How does she do it? And she sounds incredible the whole time. She's just like banger after banger back to back, like old anime stuff, like modern things. She sang the Japanese version of Let It Go from Frozen. And she sounded so good doing it too. Oh my god. I don't know. It always puts a smile on my face. So, I love these two a lot. It makes my day a lot better when I hear them laughing. It's wonderful. And I'm very happy they've been able to like, they were the MCs for this really hilarious like digital WWE tournament that Doki was hosting. And the two of them were like the commentators for a lot of it. They actually had some other folks, other VTubers who came in to commentate, but it was so funny. It was so good. Oh my god. Absolutely incredible. Oh. But yeah, no. It is super, super fun to watch them. And Mint's birthday is gonna be the day that Spooktober begins, because she's a beloved ghostie. So yeah. I'm very excited that I will actually have this done before then. I certainly didn't have this done for Dokis. I will have to hopefully have some more time to get stuff all put together for that. Yes, no, that was that. Yes, Sky, that was the one where everyone had like in-game wrestlers of the Vtubers, and it was great because it was all like no one was actually like controlling their avatars. They just rolled for stats. So each match was like totally unexpected of like who's gonna come out on top. It had nothing to do with your like skill to like grab things. It was just how did you build your wrestler persona. And it was really great because one of the Hololive talents, Bettle, on the Holostars side, he has a reputation for being like incredibly unlucky, but also like hilariously lucky in weird circumstances. And he like almost maxed, I don't remember if he maxed out the luck stat on his wrestler character. But he almost won the whole damn thing. His wrestler was just so crazy lucky that he just kept lucking his way up to the top, only to lose in the final match. It was so funny. Oh my god. I hope, you know what, I'm realizing that some people would still want to go and watch that. I don't think that revealing that will take away from the hilarity. It's still super funny to watch, and I would still recommend doing it. But my god, that shit was so funny. It was just so perfect. It was like, he got so close off of his luck stat only to have it stripped away at the very end. But Doki was really awesome, and she actually made him like a co-winner of the event. Which was super good. Oh god. Yeah, no, man did choose the Kazuma stat block. Oh my god. Yeah, no, I totally agree. If you haven't watched the VODs for them, the entire thing is incredible. It's so damn funny. They just have a lot of really funny people. There was this great rivalry that came out of another Holostar. His character is based around dinosaurs. Gerard Rex. And he was up against a meteor-themed VTuber. So, you know, the classic matchup, the meteor versus the dinosaur. And it was incredible because she, oh my god, this meteor-themed VTuber just like went super ham with it. Like she wrote an entire diss track, like 10 hours ahead of their match, and it was super good. And they had like a little thing of the two of them talking before their match, and he was just blown away. He's like, you wrote an entire song. You wrote an entire song about how the dinosaurs were gonna go extinct again. Oh, it's so good. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, let me see. I think I should be able to add a link. That is a great question. Let me go. Doki. Wrestle. Tuber. Oh my god, it was so damn funny. Okay, hold on. Let me go. I'll pull up. This is the day 1. There's 2 days. You can watch the whole thing. You can skip around as you want, but they're so damn funny. Okay, hold on. Let me go. I'll go to live chat. Okay. I've made it, unfortunately, just to combat bots, which are always a problem. I have like multiple layers of protection against bots. I have it so it's subscriber only, which that filters out most of them, but I also make it so that people can't post the links in the chat. But I have special administrator permissions. So there you go. There is the link for you all. I shall pin that message. There you go. WrestleTuber. It's very good. It's extremely funny. Would recommend. I don't even, like,
I don't know. I'm one of many people that like don't watch wrestling at all, but like it's so funny. It's so funny to watch. So I would highly recommend going and checking it out. It's a big riot. Oh God. Okay. Let's see. This is all looking pretty all right. Let's go. Just add a little bit of this real quick. You know, wrestling is like... That's the thing. I feel like they did wrestling justice too, because there was a whole arc. Like entire arcs for different people's characters. There was incredible matchups between things. Oh my word. It was so damn funny. It was so damn funny. Oh my God. Okay, I think we're gonna add a little bit of darker shadow on these. And then we'll just ramble about some more stuff here. Okay. Oh, this has been a fun stream. I want to do more Zatsudan, because then I get to share silly-ass stories with y'all. I finally got to talk about my terrible cooking and warrior cats. Like, that was really nice. I haven't been able to talk about that with you folks. Okay, I think that's okay. I wonder if I want to make that slightly darker. Let's try this. Okay. That seems good. I got to recommend rice cookers, because rice cookers are amazing. And I taught y'all about nematodes, so I think that's a win. Oh God. Oh, drawing is so nice. I'm really excited because I've actually been doing a bunch of drawing off stream that you all will get to see very soon. They've kind of been dying, actually. I've really wanted to show it to you all. But it's a surprise. It's a surprise. So I am excited for when certain spooky months will roll around and y'all will finally be able to see some of this stuff. Oh, it's gonna be good. I'm glad that y'all I'm glad you all enjoyed the Yumi stories and the biology lesson. It's wonderful. Man of the moon. I still don't know what these toads are and why I need them. It's okay. They're tiny little snack toads. They're just chilling out on you, fighting things, making sure stuff doesn't try to mess you up. There's like salmonella that's all over the place, and the nematodes are doing battle with them. But it's a good battle. They're putting up a good fight. Oh. I never get much drawing done, but it's nice to have, I don't know, nice to show you all what I'm working on. It's also just a nice excuse to have a Zatsudan. Eat some dirt, get reinforcements. Indeed. Indeed. Oh, man. Yeah, so look forward to everything that's going to be coming up here. It's going to be some exciting stuff that's coming up here. There's a very spooky stream, and after tomorrow, there's going to be a couple more spooky streams that are going to be showing up on the channel. They're going to be hidden as far as what they are until that stream happens. But it will be good. It will be good. Oh no, I'm sorry. Yes, no, there are nematodes on your skin. It's okay though. They're doing good. They're helping. They're helping make sure that things are okay, you know? I try not to think about them too much. Because, you know, it's a little unsettling to think about, but it's okay. They're supposed to be there, so it's all right. Oh, it's been a really long
year, all things considered. Like, there's been a lot of stuff that has gone wrong with, like, my basement flooding, and with, like, having internet problems and other random things. But, like, it's nice. A lot of stuff has, like, been resolved. So yeah, it's, I'm really glad that, like, we've made it through this kind of insane year and that we're finally gonna be coming out on the other side. And hopefully next year will be slightly less insane. Because God knows I need a year that's not as crazy as this one, just to relax a little bit after everything is said and done. Yumi aged 40 years in a single year. Legit, it has felt like it. It's been rough, man. Oh my God. I know. I'm pretty excited for all the things that will be coming up. Oh. Well, this was a little snapshot of all of the stuff that I've been working on. Look forward to some more cool things that will be coming up in the near future here. Tomorrow, for those of you who are members, we're going to be watching The Two Towers, the next film in our Lord of the Rings watch along. So look forward to that. It's going to be great. This particular illustration, I will have it done and finished before Mint's birthday on October 1st, so before Spooktober. And then we'll see if I can get the Hollow Myth one done. I don't know. I'm gonna see if I've got the time for it. If I don't get it out next week, I'm hoping I can get it like very shortly after that, so yeah. No, David Askew! I'd like to stop telling myself, well, next year can't be as bad as this year. I'm always wrong. Big hugs all around, y'all. I am sorry that shit is rough, and I'm sorry that, like, things can be difficult. But I hope that if nothing else, we're gonna get through this together. It's gonna be insane, but we're gonna do it. You're not alone in this. We're gonna get through this dumb shit together. God bate to all of you too. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I look forward to some more fun streams, and then look forward to the start of Spooktober next week. I don't mean to, like, keep hyping it up so much, but I really put a lot of work into this. So I hope that you all enjoy, and that you get all ready and geared up for the spooky month ahead of us. Alrighty, folks. I'll see you all very, very soon. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye! See you